Welcome to Omasae, where the rhythm of the natural world meets the creativity of the human spirit. In today's video, we're stepping into the heart of the garden, one stone at a time. You don't need acres of land or elaborate landscaping to create something beautiful. Even the tiniest garden has the potential to become a place of calm, wonder, and soulfulness when you work with what nature already offers. Stone, in all its forms, rough or smooth, old or new, is one of the most timeless and grounding materials you can use. Today, we're sharing 10 beautiful and creative stone art ideas that will instantly elevate your small garden. These aren't flashy trends or high-cost projects. They're deeply personal, poetic ideas that blend with nature and invite serenity into your space. Whether you're looking to create a moment of peace, tell a quiet story, or add a whimsical touch, there's something here for you. Along the way, we'll explore everything from mossy paths to playful sculptures to engraved messages of hope and stillness. So find a quiet spot, pour a warm drink, and stay with us as we walk slowly through these garden ideas. And before we begin, if you love content that brings together natural materials, rustic charm, and thoughtful creativity, please take a moment to subscribe to Omasae. It helps us grow and reach others who love meaningful outdoor design. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's begin creating something beautiful together, stone by stone. There is something ancient, almost sacred, about the spiral form. Found in nature, from the whirl of a snail shell to the pattern of galaxies, the spiral represents growth, cycles, and inward reflection. When translated into stone, the spiral becomes a pathway not just for your feet, but for your thoughts. In a small garden, building a stone spiral path adds both visual intrigue and emotional grounding. Begin by choosing flat stones, smooth river rocks, reclaimed pavers, or broken tiles can all work beautifully. Lay them in a swirling pattern, starting at the outer edge and curving gently inward toward a calm center. As you walk this path, you're invited to slow down and enter a more contemplative state. It's not about getting somewhere quickly, it's about presence. The center of the spiral can hold something meaningful: a seated stone Buddha, a bird bath, a potted plant, or even just a large, perfectly imperfect rock. Let moss or creeping thyme grow between the stones, softening the edges and adding a sense of time and touch. This isn't just garden design, it's soul work. A spiral path reminds us that stillness is found by circling inward. In a garden where every inch matters, this kind of movement brings depth and serenity. It becomes more than decor. It becomes a ritual of walking, breathing, and returning. A handful of pebbles may seem unremarkable on their own, but arranged with intention, they become a story, an echo of ancient art and quiet beauty. Pebble mosaics are one of the most rewarding ways to bring both personal expression and timeless texture into your small garden. Start by collecting pebbles in a variety of shapes and colors: smooth beach stones, rounded river rocks, or even crushed gravel in natural tones like ivory, slate, ochre, and rust. Begin with a design. It could be symbolic, like a spiral or sunburst, or it might reflect something more personal: a flower, a wave, a tree. Lay out your design on a prepared surface, securing the stones in mortar, sand, or compacted earth. These mosaics can live on stepping stones, at the base of a potted plant, or even vertically on a garden wall. They don't need to shout. Instead, they shimmer quietly when sunlight hits them, or deepen in hue with the touch of rain. Over time, moss might grow between the cracks, making the artwork feel ancient and alive. There's no rush. This is a project that rewards patience and thoughtfulness. With each placed pebble, you embed a bit of yourself into the ground. It's art that doesn't just decorate, it grounds, it connects, and it remembers. And even in a garden just a few feet wide, a pebble mosaic becomes a sacred floor beneath your feet. In windswept landscapes across the world, from Scottish hills to Japanese trails, small piles of stacked stones, cairns, have marked sacred spots, guided travelers, and honored lives past. In your garden, a cairn can become a quiet monument of memory or meaning. Unlike stone stacks made for art or balance, cairns are meant to signify something deeply personal. Begin by choosing a location that feels special to you, a place where sunlight filters gently, or where you often sit and rest. Build your cairn with intention, choosing each stone as you would choose words in a poem. Let it grow slowly, perhaps returning to add a new stone on days of reflection. You might dedicate it to a loved one, a season of your life, or simply the act of remembering. There's no need for markers or plaques. The cairn itself holds the memory. Some people add a feather, a shell, or a small token between stones. Others leave it plain and elemental. Over time, The cairn becomes part of the landscape, weathered, softened, grounded. But it never loses its meaning. Even in a garden full of life, this quiet monument stands still. It holds space. It holds stories. And in its silence, it offers something rare in our busy world, a place to pause and feel. Not all garden art needs to be solemn or serene. Sometimes, the most memorable moments come from a little touch of whimsy, a smile peeking from the shadows, a tiny creature perched on a ledge, a pair of eyes hidden among the ivy. Stones, with their variety of shapes and textures, are the perfect medium for creating garden creatures full of character and charm. Start with a few oddly shaped rocks. Perhaps one is long and narrow, another round and squat. Stack them or lay them out, and suddenly you'll see the suggestion of a cat, a turtle, or a wise old face. Use minimal paint to bring out the features, or glue on found objects like bottle caps, rusty nails, broken ceramics, or sea glass to form eyes, beaks, or ears. The key is not realism, it's personality. Place your creations where they might surprise a visitor, peeking from behind a fern, sitting under a bench, or nestled in a potted plant. These playful touches breathe life into your garden. They tell stories. They make people pause, chuckle, or lean in a little closer. Children especially delight in these miniature guardians, but adults are just as enchanted, perhaps because they remind us that nature, too, has a sense of humor. And unlike store-bought garden gnomes or plastic figures, these are truly one of a kind, made by hand and heart. With every whimsical stone creature, you invite joy, imagination, and a touch of magic into your garden's soul. Sometimes, it takes only a single word to change the feeling of a space. Breathe, peace, grow. When carved or written on a stone, these words take on a new kind of permanence. They become living intentions, nestled into the rhythm of your garden. Creating word stones is simple and deeply powerful. You can use paint for a gentle, changeable message, or engrave the words using a Dremel, metal stamp, or even by etching with natural wear. Choose stones that feel good in the hand, flat, smooth, welcoming. Then select words that hold meaning for you, emotions you want to cultivate, memories you want to hold close, or messages you wish to leave behind for those who visit. Scatter them throughout your garden. Let one rest beside your favorite flower. Let another sit beneath a bench or near a small fountain. You may forget where each one lies, until the garden surprises you with the reminder. And that's the magic. These aren't signs or labels. They're whispers. They don't demand attention. They wait to be found. They invite pause, presence, and reflection. Over time, the elements soften them. The words become part of the stone, just as your intentions become part of the space. With just a few words, your garden becomes more than a place. It becomes a conversation, a blessing, and a diary written in stone. There's a certain softness to moss-covered stone that evokes ancient paths, forgotten ruins, and forest floors untouched by time. In the garden, moss adds an instant feeling of age and serenity, blurring the edges between what was built and what has always been. Encouraging moss to grow on stones is easier than you might think, and the results are endlessly rewarding. Start by selecting stones with rough or porous surfaces. Place them in shady, moist areas, under tree canopies, near water features, or behind taller plants. You can mix a moss slurry by blending live moss with water and buttermilk or yogurt, then paint it onto your stones to encourage growth. Mist them regularly in the early days. With time and patience, moss will begin to creep across the surface, softening the form and deepening the color. Even the plainest rock takes on new life, dressed in velvet green. These stones are perfect for bordering paths, surrounding seating areas, or forming quiet corners where ferns and shadows gather. They don't clamor for attention. They simply become. In a small garden, where every detail matters, mossy stones add an invaluable texture, something that changes with each season, glows after rain, and invites your hand to rest upon it. They speak of time passing gently, of beauty that arrives slowly, and of the quiet truth that nature always reclaims, always heals, always whispers its softness into stone. Every garden, no matter how small, deserves a corner of stillness, a place set apart for movement and work, a place for pause, breath, and being. You can mark this sacred space with stone, using it to ground the energy and hold your intention. Begin by choosing a spot that feels calm, perhaps under a tree, beside a wall, or at the end of a winding path. Create a simple circle or crescent with flat stones. Add a comfortable seat, maybe a wooden bench, a log, or even a flat slab of stone itself. You might include a single sculptural rock at the center, or surround the space with pebbles and moss. This is not a space to impress others. It's a space to return to yourself. Here, you can sip tea, journal, pray, or simply listen. Let the birdsong, the rustling leaves, the warmth of sun on stone remind you that you are part of something larger, something quieter. In a world that moves quickly, this sacred corner moves slowly. It waits for you, patiently, holding space with grace and gravity. Over time, this small retreat may become the heart of your garden, not because it blooms, but because it holds presence. And in doing so, it invites yours. In every artwork, the frame matters. It defines the space, enhances the mood, and draws your eye to what's most important. The same is true in a garden. While flowers bloom and vines stretch skyward, a stone border gently cradles that life, giving the whole scene a feeling of care and completeness. In a small garden, borders aren't just decorative, they're essential tools for structure. But that doesn't mean they have to be rigid or modern. Choose weathered field stones, rounded river rocks, or chunks of repurposed concrete to create a low boundary around planting beds, paths, or tree wells. There's no need for mortar or precise alignment. Let the edges remain loose, flowing with the natural shape of the garden. As you lay the stones, leave just enough space for moss, thyme, or clover to creep in between, softening the lines over time. You might even tuck in pieces of driftwood or old brick for texture and warmth. These borders age beautifully. They speak of old gardens and quiet care, of hands that took the time to place each stone with purpose. And most of all, they help your garden feel contained, but never confined. The plants can still lean and spill and sway, but there's a visible sense of intention. In this way, a simple stone border becomes more than a dividing line. It becomes a frame for beauty, a boundary of tenderness, and a foundation of quiet strength. In many cultures, the simple act of stacking stones carries deep meaning. It marks a path, honors a prayer, or invites contemplation. When you bring stacked stone sculptures into your garden, whether large or small, you're introducing more than just structure. You're creating a monument to stillness, to patience, and to presence. Start by selecting stones that speak to you. Let your hands feel their weight, their shape, their balance. Begin with a wide, flat base, and allow each stone to rest where it naturally fits. There's no glue, no fasteners, only gravity and instinct. Some towers rise in neat alignment, others curve playfully or lean with quiet grace. Place them at garden entryways, near water features, or hidden among flowers for a delightful surprise. Each stack is unique, evolving over time as wind, weather, or wandering hands shift the pieces. That's part of the beauty. It's impermanent, a collaboration between you and nature. Rebuilding becomes part of the ritual. These stacks become garden companions, silent but present, always waiting, always grounded. They speak to us in a language older than words, a language of form, balance, and time. In a garden of color and bloom, these neutral forms offer a powerful counterpoint. They anchor the space. They ask nothing and offer everything. When your outdoor space is small, or when you crave moments of calm indoors, a miniature Zen rock garden can bring serenity into even the most compact corners. These small tabletop arrangements are both simple and profound, offering a ritual of presence that unfolds one grain of sand at a time. To create your own, begin with a shallow tray or ceramic dish. Fill it with fine sand or white gravel, then choose a few stones to place within. Let your arrangement be guided by intuition. A single larger stone can represent a mountain, while smaller stones suggest islands or companions. Using a small rake, fork, or even a chopstick, draw patterns into the sand, spirals, ripples, or flowing lines. This process isn't about perfection. It's about touch, movement, stillness. You can rearrange the stones whenever your mood shifts or use the garden as a tool for meditation. Add a small bit of moss, a piece of driftwood, or a candle for warmth. Whether it sits on your balcony table or in a quiet corner of your desk, this little garden becomes a window to stillness. In just a few minutes, it grounds your energy and quiets your thoughts. And in that act of shaping, smoothing, arranging, you connect with the same spirit found in large temple gardens. It's a reminder that even in a world of noise and speed, peace can be held in the palm of your hand. And now we return from our journey, hands a little dirtier, hearts a little fuller. These 10 ideas, spirals, mosaics, stacked sculptures, engraved words, whimsical creatures, mossy borders, sacred corners, are more than crafts. They are invitations. Invitations to see your garden not just as a place to grow plants, but as a place to grow meaning. Stones may seem cold at first, but they are full of warmth when placed with intention. They absorb sunlight. They echo memory. They endure. And in the smallest spaces, on patios, in courtyard corners, or tucked among terracotta pots, they become anchors of calm and creativity. If any of these ideas inspired you, we'd love to hear which one you're eager to try. Leave us a comment and share your own touches of stone magic. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to Omasae for more soulful garden ideas that celebrate simplicity, nature, and beauty shaped by hand. Give this video a like if it brought you peace today, and feel free to share it with someone who needs a little calm in their life. Until next time, may your garden be full of gentle textures, grounding presence, and stories written in stone.